Hey guys, how's it going, and welcome back to the ultimate guide to Dark Souls 2, and we're finally going to get to the Ivory King DLC.
Yeah, so first things first, this may be a little bit sloppier than the other ones. So
but we need to rely on the wiki.
Yeah, so obviously we've came from the Shrine of Winter here, which is how you get it once you have the, what's the key? The key for it, one of them.
You get it from, you get the key from Dranglake Castle.
Anyway, so once you've came here, we obviously recommend that as it's a DLC area, you're at least level 150.
Yeah, especially for this part, and we also recommend that you don't really use any form of magic, because everything in this DLC is pretty resistant to magic. You'll find that your spell's damage it's not going to be that great, so we've opted for Rapier because Rapier is godlike.
However, we do change weapons through this, just so you can kind of get a feel. It's meant as watching it as a whole. So this is just lets you get a feel to see what the three weapons that we've picked for the game generally do. The Rapier is actually okay, however you get ganked by a lot of enemies in this area. This area is quite difficult, so I would personally say go for the Greatsword because it has the most poise damage, and again, all the DLC enemies have a lot of poise.
So when you step through those first doors, by the way, you had the choice to go left or right. Left takes you to the boss, and you can't see the boss right now. So essentially it's just you walking in to get shit on.
Yeah, now basically. You can technically defeat the boss when it's invisible.
I mean, very technically, but nobody wants to waste their fucking time doing that. That sounds shit.
Yeah, exactly. So these guys are called spell swords, at least according to the wiki, and they can drop Ice Rapier, which is a fantastic weapon, Old Radiant Life Gems, and Amber Herbs. So you're mostly farming them for the Ice Rapier.
Yeah, they do drop it pretty often. I think my first run through this DLC I ended up with 5 Ice Rapiers, so we're good. So I got plenty.
As you can see, the Rapier is fine for these weapons one-on-one, but
we're going to come back to this little casket section later, by the way.
Yeah, so the whole stick with well, first of all, we're going to talk about this enemy here. This is a retainer. Now, they won't do anything until later on.
Until you pick up the eye.
Well, it's actually once you've spoken to Alsanna, and once you're speaking to her, it'll blow away all the ice in this area away, as well as the retainers will then wake up once you get near them, or once you get past them, they try and stab you in the back. So that's the whole thing with this area, is you need to go through it once.
Typical woman.
I know.
Backstabbing bastard.
So you need to go through it once, and then you need to go through it again, essentially.
Yeah, which is why the next video is longer, because essentially we're going to run through all this shit again, but there's just items to pick up because there's stuff trapped behind ice, because that's how they make you play the games and make the DLCs seem longer. They make you do it twice.
Yeah, but the retainers do drop things. They will drop the retainer's robe, the retainer's short sword, and retainer's staff, essentially.
It depends what weapon you're using. The ones that use the staff are like later on in this area. I don't think you're going to see many of them. I think there's only a couple.
So right there we pick up a wing spear.
The short sword ones are the most common. It's almost like the jagged ghost blade attack from Dark Souls 1.
Yeah.
So this is just a bullshit item placement. You have to literally be. I was on that item for ages, and it didn't give me the prompt until I was basically hanging my right nut off the edge of a cliff.
So the whole thing with this particular area, it's not so bad here because there's these big ice pillars for cover, but when you come back here again,
there's no ice pillars for cover, and it's just fucking hell.
Yeah, you get ganked really, really hard. And
so one thing you guys need to keep in mind in this DLC is that every single enemy in this game has a ranged attack in this DLC, and the way it's been put together is that if you're fighting one enemy, you're probably in range of the ranged attack of another enemy. So expect to constantly get shot in the back, expect to constantly be attacked mid-attack animation, and expect these guys to have a shitload of poison, just tank through all your hits.
Yeah.
The guy we're coming up to next is by far one of the worst versions of the spell swords.
Oh no, it's not a different one. Still a spell sword technically.
That's what I'm saying. No, he's the worst version of the spell swords, because he has like crystals on his back, and you can't actually backstab him, which makes it really fucking annoying to deal with them. He has a spear as well. No, it does have.
Some of them have a spear on.
Yeah, some of them have a spear. The spear ones are the most annoying. But basically, just kill that guy as quick as you can, because he's going to be nothing but a pain in the ass.
Yeah, but it's even more difficult when you come here again because there's more enemies and stuff. So yeah, so as you can see, all this ice gets blown away once you speak to Alsanna.
This is one of the things about this DLC, where right there you see I peeked out for a half second and boom, there's already icicles flying my way, and those things, they don't do little damage, they actually hit you quite hard.
Yeah, so honestly your best bet is to just try and bait out one at a time as much as possible. When we come here again, it's sometimes they just don't cooperate with that, which is a massive issue. And as you can see, we're dealing with that guy and then we're getting hit again, so you really need to be aware of all the enemies in your surroundings, really.
Yeah, it's lucky that I'm using the rapier there, that it's so quick, because if that was a greatsword, he'd have probably counter hit me mid-attack animation and I wouldn't have killed that guy.
However, the greatsword is good for crowd control, so it just it depends like how you're feeling. Essentially, we are feeling the rapier at this point, but the greatsword can obviously, it will stun them in the first hit, definitely. So that can be good in a lot of situations.
You need to be careful though. Those guys with like the icicles on their back, the ones that you can't backstab, although the greatsword R2 should knock them down, sometimes it doesn't. It's like you have to break their poise at the same time as otherwise it won't knock them down, which is really annoying. So just be careful against these guys in particular.
Yeah.
Like the worst enemies in this DLC so far.
I mean, as you can see, even the rapier with the stone ring took 4 hits to break that thing's poise, so
I thought there was an item down here, but I'm just remembering wrong.
Yeah.
So, never mind me.
So, you can't come here until later on anyway, and this leads to, obviously,
a lot of
other parts
backtracking in this DLC. A lot of backtracking.
However, it's not so bad because the backtracking definitely leads to new items. So when you're doing it for the first time, you're kind of like, oh, that's okay. But when you're doing it, like when you've done it before, you're just like, ugh, again.
I didn't think it was worth it, to be honest, because most of the items that you picked up were just shit.
So
like, there's not very many good items. All the items at the very start are like fucking stuff that was already in the base game. I don't know why they didn't introduce a shitload of new stuff into the DLCs, and instead they just gave us shit consumables, but whatever.
So, as you can see, these guys can shoot through walls sometimes.
Yeah, that's also a thing. So, just accept the fact that you're going to die a bunch of times in this DLC, I guess. Because the deck is heavily stacked against you from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean, even we died whilst doing this, so...
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this DLC at all.
Okay, so here's a new enemy, and this is an ice golem.
Yeah,
now,
these guys are a little different. They've got various attacks that they change their hand into, so you just need to be careful.
You can't backstab them.
You can.
So I feel that these guys are actually slightly easier compared to like maybe 2 of the other enemies. Yeah. And they only drop Radiant Life Gems and Wilted Dusk Herb, so
it's up to you if you think they're worth killing, but we can't open those chests because we need to fucking defrost the ice.
But there is some items here that are worth getting. So Monetary Charm not so much, but this is the Dark Clutch ring here.
How big a fridge do you think you would need to leave the door open long enough to do this to your city?
Pretty big fridge.
A fridge the size of the sun?
Right, so if you had like this, if the sun was a fridge and you fired the sun,
think how much beer you could fit in the fridge. The size of a sun.
So we're actually coming up to a bit that I really hate. Not specifically this part, but you can get ganked really hard in the next part once the ice is all away. So, I mean, you can get ganked pretty hard here because there is dogs. So watch out for the dogs, of course.
Which is why I've went to the staircase, because it means that I can funnel the enemies into a single file, or if they do double stack up, then I can just get out the door and then use that choke point there. So that they can't, because like they can't pass past each other at the same time. Like, 2 of them aren't going to come out the door at the same time. They have to come out one at a time. So I'm just backing down these stairs, and you'll find that the horizontal swings end up going over your head as well. So always use like the lower stairs to your advantage if you can.
Of course.
But there are dogs in here.
But you've already taken care of them.
I've already taken care of them, yeah, but they are a pain in the ass.
So again, this is the bit that I was saying that was quite difficult, but it's still a pain in the ass because you've got this one guy here, and then the other guy is trying to pepper you with attacks if you get close. So again, just doing your usual, baiting out the enemies and try and take them on one by one at this point in the game anyway.
So you know how the one redeeming factor of spear hollows is that you can backstab them? Not anymore, not in this DLC.
Yeah, that's kind of what you're
that
doing
was
with, isn't it?
spear, shield, and no backstab chances whatsoever, which is just fucking great.
I mean, at the very least, it makes for challenging enemies, I suppose.
No, it makes for bullshit enemies. It's the same as it's the same as people that wear jesters in the arena, just circumventing game mechanics. Good. Thanks for that one, FromSoft. But Yeah, so this section here, I think we go to the left first. So straight ahead is an area we can't access yet because you have to light the pillars and you can't light your tops because the winds blow it out, and you can remove the winds after you beat Aava and talk to... You see where we're going with this, where you have to speak to the queen before you get to do anything in this DLC essentially.
Frankly, in this area it is quite straightforward. You know, you think you might be able to miss things, but you're really not.
To be honest, you might even be better just skipping all the items and just running through all of this. Just so you can get the eye and then go fight the boss.
Yeah, quite possibly.
And then just come back through and do it the other way. But we're going to show you how to do it in this video because it's easier for us to separate it into... Like, it's easier for me to... Because I get all the items in a normal run through this DLC anyway. So it's easier for me to just play the DLC as I normally do. So I can remember where everything is.
So what we picked up there is the old bell helm, which...
Interesting helmet.
Yeah, very interesting.
It's really funny. It has a lot of defense if someone strikes your head. So what people were doing in PvP, which is really funny, is that they would use the bow gesture and stuff like that, so that the helmet would duck down. And the good thing about it was that it deflected arrows. Yeah. So you couldn't get arrow headshot if you'd like duck down.
So when you drop down here, you can't get back up to where you were. I mean, unless you run around like a little bit that will point out, but basically, yeah, like you can't get back up without running quite a bit back around.
Yeah, and that's probably the most useful bonfire because that leads to 2 of the knights that you have to rescue later on after the boss. So that is a handy bonfire to get. So make sure you do get that. And of course, we're back with the ice golems. There's a couple of ice golems here, and there's a couple of like the normal spell swords as well. Yeah. And then we'll be coming up to a new enemy. Now,
this area is actually quite difficult because you can get ganked really hard.
There's just so
here.
many things that attack you. It's that simple, and they all have.
So
range.
as you can see, we actually died here, so we cut that bit out.
They all have range, so it's like insane just to deal with that.
So I mean, try and take care of this guy behind this wall. Now, if you can see there up to your right, that will drop you down where the fountain is. Like if you followed like the wall of these stairs down to the right.
Going that way.
But
so, I mean, I'll have to pick up all the items. So. Backstab that guy. Well, front stab him after the backstab didn't pan out. But yeah, there's just a lot of people here, and there's a lot of gankers, and then after you get the eye as well, it wakes up all the retainers, and then they're all attacking you as well, and it's really fucking annoying. So this is the little crevice that Tony was talking about where you can get back to the fountain. So we're going to pick up this Ring of the Embedded, and as you can see, this is the fountain section here. Now, just remember to hug these walls. Try not to fall down that section just yet, because we're not finished here. Yeah. And this should be Dark Dance. Boom, there you go. Dark Dance is essentially Wrath of God, but it has Affinity attached to it. Much lower damage, obviously. But it's a good zoning spell, I guess. If someone gets in your face, you can just bang, get the fuck out.
So, like I also said, if now that you've dropped down, if you want to get back up to that bell helm area, you need to drop down to the fountain and walk all the way around.
Yeah, run all the way back around. So this is the first time we're coming up to a new enemy, and this guy's a Rampart Golem. These guys drop the lance, the shield, and their entire armor set.
Yeah. It's pretty cool, but the armor set doesn't really go with anything, and the lance is also outclassed by other weapons.
The lance is terrible, because like what these guys do, which is really funny, is they throw the lance at you, and at first I thought it was the same as the Ice Rapier spell sword thing, where they just fires the projectile. I didn't realise they were actually throwing the lance. So when I first got the lance, I was like, just a bigger Ice Rapier, and then I pressed R2 and it done nothing. I was like, oh, thanks.
They really
Hopes and dreams destroyed.
They should have made it so the R2 for the actual weapon
is the lance toss like that. Yeah.
Okay, so you go right is progress, left is hell, essentially.
You can't even go to hell yet. You don't have the key. Yeah,
but we'll get to that bit, and that's obviously the bit you all want help with. We're gonna do it, but it's not pretty.
We have no motivation to do the Frigid Outskirts because it is literally the worst fucking area in any Souls game ever.
Yeah, and probably any game in general.
I would say so, yeah.
So, as you can see, again, items frozen over, not a lot of progress being made here, but we need to soldier on anyway.
So, essentially, these Rampart Golems, by the way, just backstab fish the hell out of them, because they've got so much defences otherwise that you're going to break your weapons by the time you get back to the bonfire. Yeah. So, I mean, the good news is that we're almost finished this section. There's only a couple more enemies that we have to go through before we get to the eye, and then we're not actually going to... So if you played this DLC before, then what you're probably expecting us to do is like go around past Orheim and all that shit, and then go back to the front of Aava. As soon as we get that third bonfire, by the way, we're just going to walk back to the first one, because there's no reason to do anything after that third bonfire yet, because nothing has been melted.
Now, interestingly here, don't bother with the Forest Lockstone or any of the enemies here. The enemies are invisible. You might as well just run from this, because you need to come back here regardless.
Yeah,
So-
and that's another frozen chest, so
Yeah.
you need to come back here.
So you don't want to deal with invisible enemies that are going to shoot ballast at you.
Fun fact, in NG+, you get blindsided by a red phantom Rampart golem in that room. The one that had the frozen chest on the other side of it. We walked in there when we were doing NG+6. Like we knew he was there, but the first time we noticed it was in NG+, we walked in, and as soon as we walked in, he just like stabbed the ground and done that spike trail attack and almost fucking one-shot us.
Okay, so we're pulling this lever, which allows access to the items that we were talking about at the beginning of the game.
So you know how when we mentioned that we'll be coming back to that casket elevator soon, like right away after we killed the second ice rapier spell sword user, there was that little room in the right with the caskets that you couldn't move past on the elevator. Well, now we can go around that way, and that leads to an armor set and a spell as well, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Can't remember.
It's good items regardless.
I mean, no, not really. The North Wonder set isn't great. In fact, the hood goes well with stuff, and the gloves go well with stuff, but the jacket and the trousers are just terrible.
Yeah.
So this is why I hate these guys. Just unrelenting fury.
I know, but you need to deal with it, and I mean, it's nice to have a challenge, I suppose. At least it's still somewhat challenging.
I can't attack him because he attacks and blocks at the same time, the same as spear haulers. But you know what you can do when a spear hauler attacks and blocks at the same time? You can backstab it. You know what you can't do to these guys?
Okay, so the
watch
one
this.
thing that you can do here is that this ladder is invisible,
I
but
turned on hacks.
yeah, you can do this.
Yeah. You can climb this ladder. So this is, for some reason, this ladder has the same properties as the invisible people, where you need the eye of the priestess in order to see it, but we're pro, so we know it's there anyway. And this guy's just the best. I mean, at least they tried. He gets a medal for participation anyway.
Yeah, of course.
It's the thought that counts. But that Splinter and Lightning Spear, don't even think about using it, by the way. It's fucking awful.
It's so garbage.
Here's how bad it is. We were trying to figure out a way to reliably one-shot the congregation. All of it, of course, Magus, the congregation, and all of the Dreglings at the same time. Tried Splinter and Lightning Spear, fired it 4 times, didn't hit anything.
Yeah.
There are a lot of enemies in that boss room. Didn't hit any of them.
So we picked up Soul of a great hero there, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go down here and just halberd strats, because halberd strats?
Didn't particularly work great, but fuck it.
No, they worked fine.
But yeah, so now we're probably going to switch. I think we're switching mainly to the halberd now, except when it comes to Aava, because obviously boss.
Yeah.
But picking up a human FJ, so this is just stuff you can do here.
It's probably because my rapier was getting ready to break, because because I was fighting so much shit on the way here.
Yeah, that would have been it.
So taking off the Ring of Blades as well, because we're using an infused weapon, there's no reason to use Ring of Blades.
So now we can make, again, progress towards the eye.
Well, I mean, this is us pretty much at the eye. There's one enemy, there's one item between us and the eye.
Is it not the witch?
No, it's some sort of fucking potion-y thing, is it not? Crimson Water, yeah. The thing that restores health and spell uses.
Oh yeah, no, I'm thinking of a different thing. Right, anyway, so
this leads us to the Eye of the Priestess, which is this glowing altar here.
now something to make a point of: if you are using a mule, you cannot do this DLC because you already have the eye in your inventory as an item.
Which means you can't pick this up, because you can't pick up 2 of the same key item.
Now the interesting thing is the key item that's being in your inventory isn't what lets you see things that are invisible. It's picking it up triggers the event that turns things visible.
Yeah. So you might have the Eye of the Priestess, but that doesn't matter, because invisible dudes are still going to be invisible, because the thing that makes them go visible is picking up the eye.
Yeah. So this guy can drop the Elite Knight set, the Knight set. Oh, there's a Drakekeeper sword wielding guy.
Yeah, there's one with the Drakekeeper sword somewhere, and of course the he drops Divine Blessing too.
Yeah.
There's something else I wanted to mention, by the way. Oh yeah, if you're playing on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or you've got the new version of Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin on PC, the Eye of the Priestess will also make the enemies in the Shaded Woods go visible too.
Yeah.
That's a thing. It doesn't apply to PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and the DirectX 9 version of Dark Souls 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, DX9.
So we're not doing this part of the game. We're again just going straight to the boss to
Yep.
just unlock the area in that way. It's just quicker. It's like a more cohesive way of doing it, because otherwise you need to go back there again. So
Yeah, and I'd rather not do that. So we're just setting up our boss killer. So of course, Ring of Blades, Flynn's Ring, Leo Ring, and getting ready to go in there. Now the good thing about this
with
boss
a rapier,
fight,
resin, and brightbug.
yeah, definitely going to use Brightbug against Aava. I think Aava is one of those bosses that does quite a high amount of damage, and she has a few combos as well. So you do need to be kind of careful.
Overall, pretty decent boss.
I like Aava. I think Aava's the only, like, one of the better non-humanoid bosses in the game.
Yeah, no, totally. It's a shame how Luthen Zalin is just two Avas, but that is bullshit. Essentially, it's not good. Anyway,
No, it's not even that it's bullshit. It's just fucking lazy.
yeah, no, definitely.
So the good thing about Aava is that some of the attacks seem really difficult to deal with, like her Homing Crystal Soul Mass and stuff like that, but we're going to show you a really easy way to deal with it, and we actually found this out while I was playing NG Plus with Noel. We managed to figure out that you can just get behind Aava and the Homing Crystal Mass can't hit you.
Oh, another thing is that you can get summons for her. However, they're not particularly useful because they do die quite quickly, and then you're dealing with an even higher damage Aava. Again, like we said, if you are having particular trouble with a boss, just respec so you can use the rapier. Even at base stats, you're still going to be doing respectable damage with this setup.
Now, just be careful with Aava, because if you do get behind her or to the side of her, she's going to constantly try to do this little catch where she'll like swing to her side. That's right there. You can tell because it's really strange. It's like the shoulders of the cat will move to the right before she'll swing. There's a small tell for it, and that's the AoE. That one's really easy to deal with. It's got a very low range. But really it's just basic learning your timings for the boss. Some of the rolls need to be early, some of them need to be late. It's really strange. It's going to take you practice to learn their attack patterns and learn the dodge patterns. Like these attacks here are really weird where there's a really extended delay on it. So you just need to be really careful with her. If she stops moving and rolls at you and starts to sprout Homing Crystal Soul Mass above her head, just get behind her and start using your rapier basically. But as you can see, I'm starting to remember Aava, so it's not that bad.
It would appear that as soon as you're doing the jumping attack, you just want to roll under the arm that's doing the attack and try to get at her arse, essentially.
If she does any leaps towards you, I tend to always just roll forwards or try and roll through it. It's when she does like the paw swipes, I'll roll back. If you do roll back a paw swipe, expect a follow-up, and this is what I mean here. Just get behind her and see, you're fine. Can't touch you. But you do need to be wary of that attack right there that you just seen where she swipes her paw pretty quickly. Is a sort of like, I'm going to get you if you go behind me attack. It's like a defensive attack, which is cool. Not many bosses have defensive attacks.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of this is just getting your dodge timings down more than anything.
It really is, yeah. So I would suggest that you have 100 agility minimum, obviously, because that's like optimal for your iframes. You can go to 105 if you want to push it, obviously.
Our attacks do deal a lot of damage, and the issue is if you're going with some kind of tank build, it's better to just completely mitigate the damage as opposed to
block it.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't found any success in fighting Aava using a shield effectively, really. Like, you can block an attack or two, sure, but she's always going to break your shield if you like, stand there and keep going. So at this point, I'm not killing her, I don't think. I think I'm just trying to like showcase her moveset a little for you guys. So there's the swipe. If she starts with her right paw, by the way, if the swipe starts with her right paw, she will follow up with a left one if you dodge the right. But if she starts with the left, she won't follow up with the right. So that's just another thing that you have to try and keep in mind. But it is all about, as I said, learning the patterns, learning when you need to roll, and that's pretty much how you beat Aava. If she goes for the AoE, get behind her. Not the AoE, sorry, the Home and Soul Mass, get behind her. She goes for the AoE, just roll backwards a couple times and you're good. But other than that, Ava's bark is kind of worse than her bite. But
it's... Tigers don't bark.
I know.
But really when it comes down to it is the boss killer setup is going to be your biggest advantage towards killing her.
It's just a simple case of that rapier just melts everything that gets in front of it.
Yeah.
So, fuck it.
Why not?
Rapier, resin, Leo ring, flinge ring, and it's GG's. Like the bosses can't do anything about it. I think the only boss that I wouldn't suggest using it on is the skeletons, but that's only because they take like 0 thrusting damage, and
so here we're at Alsanna. Also Sin. Don't use the Rapier against Sin. But
yeah, Sin too. But that's just because he's fucking huge and you can't hit him.
yeah. So this is Alsanna. Obviously, you agree to what she's saying, and she'll send away all the ice. Now
we can get all the items in the place.
She has a quest assigned to her. However, we will talk about that in the next video.
Yeah, we're not going to do that quest, by the way, because it's literally hours and hours and hours and hours of endless farming.
But there is one other thing you can do with her, and we'll show you that in another video as well.
Yeah.
But as you see, we picked up the vessel shield there as it blew away the ice for it. The vessel shield is pretty cool, but
it has low defense requirements, but it does have some nice stat boosts anyway. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys.
Hopefully that was informative. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Also, Aava's soul can be turned into the Ivory Greatsword via weapons.
No, Ivory straight sword, not the Ivory Greatsword, because people think you'll talk about the Ultra.
Yeah, Ivory straight sword.
They'll think you'll talk about the Loyce one. The Ivory straight sword is the shitty little dagger that has no range and it looks like a cat fang or whatever. It's got like no range, it does no damage, so just don't use it. Just pop Aava's soul and spend it on leveling up or whatever, or upgrading weapons.
Yeah.
But that's it, guys. Yeah, we'll see you in the next one where we get every other item and take on the Ivory King.
See you then. Bye.